Hi, everyone. Welcome in. We'll give it a couple minutes. I'm still admitting everyone in, and then we'll go ahead and get started.
Morning, Tanya. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning. Thank you guys for being here. It's really exciting that everyone's presenting their research this year, so really excited to see all of your projects. Let's just give it one more minute, and then we'll get started. And just so we can kind of get see how many people have done this before, can you guys put in the chat box, or you guys can just unmute? How many of you have presented last year, or and how many of you is this is the first time you guys are presenting at the symposium?
First time for me.
First time, okay.
It's my first time.
Okay, a lot of first times. That's so exciting. I'm glad to see that. Okay, very cool. Okay, so I guess we can go ahead and get started. Thank you guys so much for coming. So this presentation will basically be about how to just present your research at the symposium, kind of preparing you for what to expect at the symposium, and just resources that we have really online that you guys can use for your presentations. So Batiste, if you can start sharing, that would be great.
Alrighty. Well, first we can just introduce ourselves. My name is Batiste Golstani. This is my second year doing CRF, so I'm one of the CRF seniors. And yeah, and Tanya, you want to go ahead?
Yeah, so I'm Tanya Shankar. I'm a third year bio major, and this is my first year as a Chancellor's Research Fellowship. So if you guys haven't heard of it, we basically get funded to do our research project. And my research project is about studying acute aggression in children with autism. So I'm really excited to present at this symposium. I'm sure you guys all are excited as well to present your research. But yeah, thank you guys for coming out.
All right, just give me 1 second and I'll get the presentation running.
No worries. Okay, perfect. Okay, so once again, welcome to the Undergraduate Research and Creative Activity Symposium presentation workshop. So once again, we'll be going over kind of how to prepare for your presentation at the symposium. Okay, so just to start off, just some benefits of presenting your research. So you've all already submitted your abstracts, or you're probably hearing back to kind of edit your abstracts. So make sure to get those in as soon as possible. But the symposium dates will be May 10th to 12th, depending on what category your research falls under. And we'll talk about that later as well. But just benefits of presenting your research. There is a big benefit of professional development and networking. So your research is about sharing results. You also get to practice your presentation skills, which is always a great thing. And you get the opportunity to get input and advice from the audience. So you guys will be receiving feedback from just advisors and professors that will be there during your research symposium presentation. And they'll kind of write feedback, and you'll get an email about it later on about kind of what they liked about your presentation, what they thought you could improve on. So that's always great practice. And then lastly, presentations are noted on your resume. So you can absolutely put this on your resume. This is a great thing you guys doing, especially if you're in research. Presenting at symposiums is a great benefit of conducting research. So there are a couple of symposium presentation formats, and you guys should have gotten an email about it from Gladys regarding whether you'll be in person or you'll be doing your presentation over Zoom. So if you are if you're emerging research or creative arts, you will be presenting on May 10th, which is Tuesday. And if you're in the completed research section, which you guys should have noted on when you submitted your abstract, it should have asked what sorry, let me admit these people, but what type of category you're in. So depending on that, you should have received an email confirming what category you're in. So if you're emerging or creative arts, you will be on May 10th. And if you're a completed research project, you will be on May 11th, which is Wednesday. And all three of these categories will go under the Zoom oral presentation. So you can have slides, you can have like slides, ready, or you can also do like a poster presentation and then kind of zoom in into the different parts. We recommend slides just because it's easier for the audience, like in your Zoom call, to see the slides and like the data and research better. We also have the in-person, could you go back 1 second? So we have the in-person poster presentations as well. So this will happen during Thursday, May 12th, and 11 to 12 p.m. will be the college's BCOE, CNAS, and School of Medicine. So this depends on what school your research is in, not what school you're in. So for example, I'm a biology major, but I conduct research in the School of Education College. So my research will fall under the School of Education, which is like the 1230 to 130 category. And then, if you're CHAS, School of Public Policy, School of Education, or Business, you will be in the 1230 to 130 presentation. And once again, you should receive just a confirmation of what times you will be, and you can kind of sign up for that as well. Okay. And then, so let's start with the live presentations via Zoom. So there are three categories within the live presentations. There will be emerging research, completed research, or creative arts and creative activities. So for emerging research, we recommend you guys prepare a 5 to 8 minute presentation, no longer than 8 minutes, just so we have time to get to all the other research projects. Prepare a 5 to 8 minute presentation, discuss the importance of the question, the methodology design, and expected outcomes. So kind of what you're expecting your results to be, hypothesis, all of that. And then a good option is to practice your research talk and get feedback on your proposed research approach, just with your lab members, with your family and friends, just so you're ready to present at your best during the actual symposium. And then for completed research, you'll prepare a 15-minute presentation. So this is a bit longer just because completed research projects will have data and results and all of that ready. Discuss your topic, research methodology, and results. And then for creative activities, prepare a 10-minute presentation, no longer than 10 minutes. So just introduce yourself in the beginning, have a 3-minute introduction. What is the topic? How did you create this project? What are the important elements that the audience should look for within your presentation? And then we recommend a 5 to 6 minute short video or presentation, whatever your actual creative activity is. Go ahead and present that. And then the last 2 minutes should just be a conclusion. What did you learn? How is this contributing to the overall discipline that your research is under? This all comes under the Zoom presentations. Does anyone have any questions so far? I kind of just want to pause it there. I know I'm going a bit kind of sliding through the slides. Any questions so far?
I have a question. Wait, so when are we getting emails in regarding what dates? Because I don't even know, I'm a transfer student, so I don't really even know what school is my presentation on. Because I'm CNAS, and I think I did my presentation more of closer to probably public health or sociology. So what school would that be? If you could answer that, please.
Yeah, of course. So actually, you guys should have all received, if you look at Gladys's emails, she would have sent you guys it should be a research symposium, it's an Excel sheet with your name and then what school of what college you're presenting under. So I think she sent that a couple days ago. Go ahead and try to search for that. And it's called Symposium Updates Edits U411. And it should say, because when you submitted your abstract, you should have mentioned what college you're under. What college is your PI working under?
He is in School of Public Health.
Okay, I see. Okay, so
yeah.
Okay, yeah. So go ahead and look at that Excel sheet, and then at the end, if you don't find it, I'll help you with finding what college you're in.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, of course. Okay, and then I'll keep going. If you guys have any questions, feel free to just put it in the chat box, or we'll take all the questions at the end as well. Okay, so next, there's a new option for presenting on Zoom. So we kind of want you guys to know all the benefits of presenting on Zoom and like all the tricks ins and out. So if you share your screen, if you press share your screen, and we'll send these slides over to you guys at the end of the presentation. So you guys also have this. You don't need to like take screenshots or anything. But if you press share your screen,
Thank you.
oh, no worries. But yeah, if you press share your screen and then select advanced, so there should be basic on the left and advanced on the right. If you select advanced and then you select beta, you'll be able to actually like put yourself within your Zoom screen. So as you can see on the right side, Gladys is able to like put herself on her screen instead of being like a little box on the side. So that's also a great way to like present your research and be kind of point things out on your slide. So we're trying to have the same benefits as people who are presenting in person have. So yeah, this is like a great option to present your symposium, like your presentation. If you guys need help with this, we can also help at the end. Okay. So presenting your oral presentation. So presentation should follow the order of a research paper, and a great way to know like the order of research paper is kind of talk to your PI or your principal investigator and kind of ask them about how the outline should be. You should also be continuously checking in with them or your research mentor to see if you're getting all the slides right, if like all the information is making sense and all of that. But just to give you like a general overview, so the introduction should present your research topic and just rationalize the following. So background information, briefly explain what your topic's about. So not everyone who joins your Zoom presentation or your presentation in person is going to know what you're talking about, right? So you don't want to use like jargon that is specifically used in your discipline. You want to make sure it's kind of easy to access for anyone who's outside of your research discipline as well, right? So briefly explain what your topic is about and the gaps you're trying to fill. What is the research question? What is the focus of the study? And what is your specific research hypothesis? And then also talk about methodology. We want to know kind of the process for data collection and how you plan to analyze that data. And yeah, I think that is it for this. So we'll kind of go more into like what else you should have in your
It might connect to your card, but I don't want it to connect.
Sorry about that. So yeah, emerging presentations are appropriate for students to discuss methodology and just preliminary or expected results. This is similar to a poster presentation without the poster, right? So you'll still be able to present all of these within your presentation slides. And then for completed presentations, they're most appropriate for fully developed research. So everything you have, the data analysis, like what you use to analyze the data, your conclusion, all of that should be included in your slides. And then the introduction, all of these steps, like the background information, research question, as well as methodology, they should be included whether you are an emerging research project or a completed research project. We want the audience to kind of know everything there is that you know about your research topic. And then feel confident about your work. So you know the most about what you're presenting. You most likely know more about that topic than anyone else in your, like if you're presenting in person or if you're presenting on Zoom, you'll probably know the most about it. So be confident about your research. If some people ask, like if someone asks a question that you don't know, tell them that you don't know. That's totally okay. You don't know, and that you'll get back to them, or you'll check in with your PI about the answer. So really feel confident about this. You guys were accepted. So this is a huge thing, and we really want to see you guys be confident about presenting your research. Okay. And then, so to go on, so this is specifically for completed research, kind of the body of your presentation should include focus on your findings, right? So you've already completed your research project. How did you find that data, right? How did you analyze that data? Use visuals. So the audience, especially if they're not in your discipline, your research discipline, using charts, graphs, bullet point summaries are the easiest way to kind of reel them in, right? Keep them interested, let them know what's going on. So they're not confused about what you're presenting. So in the body, it should answer, what did you expect to find? How did your results relate to the theory or previous literature? So kind of comparing to past or previous research findings. And then what are the implications of these findings? How does it overall, help the discipline that you're in, help the field that you're in? And where will you go from here? What are you planning to do with this research findings? Are you planning to kind of develop another study? Are you planning to, whatever you're planning to do with this completed research, kind of go ahead and include that in your body. Yeah, and then next slide. And then it's kind of different for emerging research. Once again, use the figures, charts, graphs, use them appropriately so that the audience who are not in your discipline or don't know anything about research can still understand what you're presenting on. And then we expect you guys to share your preliminary results or expected results. So obviously you won't know, this is an emerging research, right? You either have just started or you're about to start your actual research project. So you won't exactly know what results you're going to get. So whatever you expect to get, kind of your hypothesis, share those with the audience. And then this should answer, how are you going to analyze the data? What are you planning to use for data analysis? What are your controls? What do you expect to find? Once again, what are the implications of your expected findings? So whatever you expect to find, how does that help the overall discipline of your research? And where will you go from here? Like the completed research as well. Okay. And then for preparing your oral presentation specifically for creative arts, so there's kind of three different for anyone who's doing creative arts in here. You'll create a video that showcases your work. So this will be the body. It'll be about 5 minutes, no more than 5 to 6 minutes, I would say. So it should be whatever your creative project is in, right? If it's a short film, if it's a recording of a dance performance, recording of an acting scene, whatever it is, give a live, you can also give a live performance. So you have two options. You can either have a pre-recorded video or you can do a live performance. Just keep in mind that this will be over Zoom. So whatever works best for you. So if it's a live performance, for example, you could give a poetry reading, an acting scene, an instrumental or vocal performance, whatever you have planned for your creative arts project. Okay. And then the conclusion. So this would embody completed, emerging, and creative arts projects. So discuss the implications and directions for future research, like we mentioned earlier. Also provide acknowledgements. So your advisor and your research team and the funders, so if anyone's funding your research, give thanks to them. That's really important because they are helping you do this research. You wouldn't be doing this research if it wasn't for them, right? So make sure you are providing acknowledgements for those specific teams or research teams or advisors or whoever it is, right? If you're funded by the CRF or the mini grant program here at UCR, whatever you're funded by, make sure you give thanks to them at the end. Also, make sure to use correct citation formats. So in the different research disciplines, it is different for CHAS projects versus CNAS projects, so more science projects. The format is a bit different. So make sure you check in with your PI or your advisor or your research team if you're using the right ones. And then once again, that goes into making sure you're checking in with your research PI. You don't want to be doing this all by yourself. You want to be sure that you're checking in with them, making sure that all of your slides make sense, all of your research makes sense. I also highly recommend you practice present to them, just so you can kind of get a feel of how it is to present to other people. And then, be consistent with your formatting. You don't want to be using APA in the first half of your presentation and then using MLA in the last half, right? Make sure you're kind of consistent throughout your whole presentation. Also, your audience will be asking questions. So if it's not your family or friends, it'll be the people that we send for to give feedback on your presentation. They might be interested and they might be asking questions. So anticipate questions, kind of practice those answers. If you practice questions and practice answers. And also, once again, if you don't know the answer, that's 100% okay. We're all just students. We don't know all the answers to this. We're not professionals in this field, right? So just make sure that you're still confident about your research and you're letting them know that I'll check in with my PI and I'll find the answer to that. Okay. So then we also, if you're doing a Zoom presentation, there are UCR PowerPoint templates available online. So we'll be sending all of these slides to you guys over email. So you guys will have access to the link. But I can also put it in the chat box just in case you guys want to check that out. But it's basically, there is like it's very cool, many different like PowerPoint presentation slides, like templates that you can use. So you can kind of just copy paste your specific research findings onto these slides. So you guys are available to use outside templates, but we highly recommend you guys use these templates because you are representing UCR as a whole. So we kind of want to see that representation with like the logo and the different colors and all of that like all the blue and gold colors. So yeah, these resources are available to you if you guys want to use them.
All righty, thank you for that. Everyone can hear me okay, right?
Yeah.
All right, wonderful. All righty, so basically a lot of this stuff Tanya covered was basically for the sort of online symposium, but a lot of this stuff we're going to go over right now is going to be for the poster presentation itself, if you choose to do the in-person option. So again, it's going to be about a 5 to 7 minute oral presentation. Make sure you have proper graphs, images, charts, and figures, just to be able to show your research and be able to properly communicate it. Just to give a sort of outline, you need to have your introduction or abstract. Again, what is the research topic? Why is it important? Why do we care? If you're speaking about a very specific topic, I don't know, a specific gene in Arabidopsis, you want to be able to sort of explain that in a way where we see why it's important and why it's necessary. Methodology, again, very important how you're gathering and analyzing your data. That's very important. We want to know how you got that data, not just what that data is. You need to have your preliminary or expected results and key findings and follow that up with a conclusion or next steps. Again, make sure you have your references and acknowledgements on your poster as well. So this is the specific format, and I encourage you all who are making a poster to come back and check this and use it as a sort of guide. This is sort of going over the title, author name, major co-authors, and the various font sizes that you're expected to use for each. We would expect your title to be in 72 to 88 point font, followed up by your author name, major, and co-authors and contributors as well. So for example, if your grad students helped you on this, make sure you mention their name as well and give them credit. And again, faculty, mentor, and department towards the bottom at 48 to 60 point font. Your headers should be 36 to 72 point font. And just to sort of go over each of these most important parts of your poster, which are the intro and abstract, just to go over it again, it's what you're investigating, being able to define the problem, question, or topic, followed up by methodology. So this could be surveys, experiments, interviews, data analysis, and essentially in methodology as well, you can include a lot of figures to clarify how you receive your data. Results, what did you discover and what do the preliminary results show? So even if you're doing something emerging, you have preliminary data, what does that show and where can you move forward with that data? And your conclusion is basically, again, what are the implications of your research? What does the data mean? And how are we going to take this data and move forward with it in science? Again, references and acknowledgements. Thank your contributors, your faculty mentors, and if you're funded by a program, make sure you acknowledge them as well. And one thing that I'd like to sort of add on to this is that during presentations, whether online or in person, you know, there's sort of the classic thing in science where, you know, it can get jargony and boring and sort of, you know, like the classic like nasally voice of like a scientist. You want to sort of be animated, be excited about your research, speak about it as if it's something you're genuinely interested in. And I hope we all are incredibly interested in our research, but just make it exciting, make it interesting. And one thing that I sort of like to do is I make sure before I move forward with explaining my research, I really want to make sure that people understand why it's important. So for example, my research is in multiple sclerosis, and I want to clarify that there are millions of people in the world living with MS today. and that the data we collected could one day help treat these patients. And that can apply to any sort of research, making sure we explain why it's important and how we can move forward with our data. So dialogue about research. This is, the most important part about research when people challenge you with questions that you should be able to answer. But if you're not able to, that's okay too. As you can see towards the bottom of the screen, it's okay to say, I don't know, or I'm not sure, but it is good to say you're going to consult with your faculty and look more into it. Because a lot of the questions they ask are challenging and they offer really good ways of moving forward on your research. So again, be prepared to speak to a broad audience. In science, you need to be able to make sure that people outside of your field can understand. That's why we have a lot of respect for people in, NIH or someone like Fauci who can communicate to millions of people who perhaps don't know the intricacies of the COVID-19 virus. So define important concepts, simplify the language, avoid jargon. Using visual aids are always very, very helpful in clarifying research. Speak slowly and clearly. And have different versions for audience members of different backgrounds. So more technical data versus more general data as well. So getting the dialogue started, you can ask, do you have a few minutes to hear about my research? Or people can approach you and ask you about your research as well. And again, your poster is an advertisement for your research. You're not trying to sell anything, but you are trying to sort of bring people in and speak to them about your research and present the highlights of your findings. So these are some good resources for preparing the poster. I personally really like PowerPoint, but there are a lot of different things that you all can use, including Adobe Illustrator, Adobe InDesign, and LaTeX. These are some templates that would be good in helping prepare your poster. So you guys can all go ahead and access these once this presentation is shared. And UCR logos would be good to include on your presentation as well. And the link is right there. So this is just some logistics for the symposium format. Again, the scheduling link will be sent after the submission deadline, and the scheduling times will be served on a first come, first served basis. The completed research sessions will have about 3 presenters, whereas the emerging or creative arts sessions will have 4 presenters. Again, because it takes less time for the emerging research or creative arts sessions. All sessions will allow time for a Q&A. That's one of the most important parts of the presentation is people asking you questions and challenging you and you being able to speak to them about that. And Zoom is a platform that we use for all presentations except the poster presentations. So most of these will be placed on Zoom. They will be recorded and posted online for the campus community to visit. And again, that's very important for people who are going to be evaluating your presentations as well to sort of determine if you are granted an award or not for the presentation you gave. But students can opt out of the recording with approval of a faculty mentor. So you can speak to your PI if you choose to not be recorded. Each presenter will record their presentation and then submit them to a Google Drive provided by the Student Engagement Office. Again, we have a very big database of a bunch of presentations. And also make sure you encourage friends and family to attend your session and to provide feedback. Again, they're happy because they're seeing you present your research, but also it's good to just bring more people in to speak about your research with. So Zoom link will be sent to you after your presentation time is confirmed. You're going to be designated as an alternate host, so not just a guest. You will have the ability to share your screen and sort of move through your presentation as you see fit. Just make sure to test the video links in your presentation. And you will be asked to record your presentation and submit that recording to a link that will be provided to you. So symposium etiquette, make sure you arrive 10 to 15 minutes before the scheduled presentation session. You're going to be in a sort of Zoom meeting, meet the moderator, the presenters, the test presentation. Make sure you're sort of friendly and kind and attentive to the other people in your room as well. Plan to be present for the entire session, invite friends and family again, encourage guests to stay for the entire session. And listen, this part is very, very important. So you want to give the other people in your group the same respect that they're going to give you. So don't just be there waiting to present or just be nervous for your own presentation. make sure that you listen to the other presentations as well and participate in Q&As. So when other people in your group are presenting, be paying attention and prepare at least one question for your peers. So here are just some symposium tips. So prepare and practice your presentation for the allotted time provided. Make sure you stay within your time limit, put a timer or clock in front of you to keep track, and respond to the moderator prompts in time remaining. One thing that I'd like to sort of share with you all is, in preparation for my research, I actually would just make like my own Zoom meeting with just me, and I would just present to myself, and I would record it, watch the recording, fix some things, and I did that about at least probably 3 or 4 times, just so you get a hang of what your presentation looks like, how you present yourself, and how you speak. So that's one of the best ways to practice, is to just look at yourself in a screen, be in that same setting. And that's one of the best ways to practice and make sure your presentation is going to be solid. Anticipate and practice responses to audience questions. So present trials and tribulations, don't exaggerate your findings or implications. And again, people are going to ask questions that you just don't know the answer to. Perhaps there's not enough data, or you just don't know. So it's okay to say that. It's 100% okay to say you don't know. Just don't say something that you're not sure about. And one other good way to practice this is to just anticipate questions that may come up and prepare for them in advance. And respect your audience. So hopefully this goes without saying, but make sure you dress professionally for your Zoom meeting. Use Symposium virtual backgrounds for your college. And if you cannot use a virtual background, make sure you do not have a distracting background. Be in a quiet space with no distractions. Again, make sure you have good Wi-Fi, and test your presentation and equipment before you present. Make sure you test your video links as well. Again, all just to mitigate risk. And speak clearly and directly to the camera. If needed, invest in a headset. But again, speaking clearly and directly into the camera is very, very important. And again, the best way to do that is to sort of just practice on your own time. Again, set up a Zoom meeting with yourself and just look at yourself, present. And that's going to be the best way to see how you look in front of others. So this is our Symposium research page. You guys all have access to this. It is online. And the different video resources we have are basically the presentation tips, preparing for the symposium, recording your presentation tips, and presenter expectations. So a lot of the really, really important things that we're looking for in a very good symposium research presentation will be listed on this website. So these are sort of the links you need to get there. And you can also get your virtual backgrounds here as well. So evaluation and feedback. Again, now I can get into more detail later as to who will be evaluating, but these will be evaluated. Now you're not going to get a grade or anything, but again, faculty, graduate students will be looking at your presentations, not only just to learn more, but to gauge sort of how research is going in undergrad. And they will be taking a look. They will perhaps provide critiques, and basically, by evaluating, they're going to be able to determine who sort of had the best presentation for their own corresponding group. So again, the evaluation is going to be optional. You can get constructive feedback, or you can also get recognition for best oral presentation and poster in each college. This is going to be very good to put on your resume. It'll help with potential future applications to graduate schools or jobs. The feedback will be on professionalism, organization or flow, clarity of context, and overall impression. These are very good things to keep in mind while you're presenting. And also, any critique that's given is going to be very helpful in the long run, because it's just going to help you be better in the future. And the reviewers that are actually going to be taking a look are going to be not just faculty and staff, but also graduate students who are doing research at UCR. So they will all be taking a look, they'll be evaluating, and they'll be focusing on mainly those 4 aspects. So that concludes our presentation. Right now, we're going to be open for a Q&A session. And yeah, thank you all so much, and we look forward to learning about your research. I'm going to stop sharing my screen.
I think I already got in a couple of questions. So first question was, so the slides will be sent to you guys after the workshop within the next like either today or tomorrow. So you should receive all the links. I've also put some of the links in the chat box in case you guys need them. And then we got a question, are fabric posters allowed or only paper posters? So you guys are able to use either one, fabric or poster papers, but we will have poster boards to hang up the poster. So you guys don't need to worry about bringing a poster board or anything like that. And then does UC have a latex template that we can use? Batiste, do you know about this?
Is the question in the chat? Oh, we should probably stop recording, right?
Oh, yes. I'm sorry. Let me see.